there's been a big decision by the US Supreme Court, and that is what is in fact there in most of the online headlines that we are looking at. The decision is that the US Supreme Court has decided to strike down race-based quotas. Now, the fight against race-based quotas has been going on for quite some time. Many of them have been saying that it is a blow to affirmative action that is something that was part of the US system to ensure that Afro-Americans are also integrated within the system. Not only Afro-Americans, other students are also integrated into the system. So when it comes to the college admissions, they have decided to ensure that it's a level playing field, as they claim, because they say that no student should gain admission through ethnicities. Now, this is the second such decision that has come from a conservative group of judges in the US Supreme Court, the last one being the overturning of the abortion rights. So many of them have called it the setbacks to liberals. Many of them are saying that this in fact shows that the US Supreme Court is now technically dominated by conservatives, and is completely dominated by the conservatives in this case. So a lot of questions being asked about what will be the future of this affirmative action that was supposed to be the cases of a lot of issues when it came to race relations in the United States. Now, this is what we have the media house, in fact, bringing out an article on it, especially on the online portal. The NDTV's online portal has put up that article. It says, US Supreme Court bans use of race ethnicity in university admissions. The justices broke 6-3 the justices broke 6-3 along conservative liberal lines in the decision, which came after years of conservative antipathy to affirmative action policies. Now, 1 year after overturning the guarantee of women's rights to have an abortion, the court's conservative majority again demonstrated its readiness to scrap liberal policies set in law since 1960. So this is a history of how these policies are being overturned, and these policies come from 1960s onwards. And from 1960s onwards, especially when it comes to affirmative action, we know how race relations in the 1960s were in the United States, people asking for equality, and some of these policies had been born out of those those kind of movements that happened in the United States. And this is seen as a big shock to a lot of people as well. Pankaj, when it comes to affirmative action, of course, the United States was talking about, positive discrimination. It was talking about how to integrate its various ethnic minorities based on race, religion, and even linguistics to an extent. But then this conservative demand, it shows that the overturning of possible policies, liberal policies that came from 1960s onwards, some that were taken to be granted by a lot of liberals as well. Two big decisions, one on abortion rights and now on this. It looks like the conservative judges are technically overturning a lot of liberal policies one by one.
Well, absolutely, Varghese, and on expected lines, the first person to have responded to this Supreme Court ruling was the first citizen of the United States, President Joe Biden. He has strongly disagreed with the Supreme Court's ruling banning the use of race and ethnicity in university admission policies. For the benefit of our viewers, what it means is that kind of quota system that we have, the kind of bifurcation into the admission percentages that we have in our universities, that has been done away with or will be done away with. That's what the recommendation of the Supreme Court is. It says that based on the race, ethnicity, caste, and creed, the admission criteria should get over. All of them should be in general category, as simply put as that. Now, that practice is against affirmative action. What is affirmative action? It's called doubling in common parlance. It means to bring the traditionally marginalized community, in the case of United States, is the African American community, the Black community, as they call them. To bring them into the mainstream, they were given certain benefits. They were given certain avenues where they can actually be treated at par with certain advantage, with certain heads up, with the rest of the people, with the rest of the candidates. So this affirmative action does not only apply in universities, it applies in jobs, it applies in hospitals, it applies in service sectors, it applies in government-aided schools, all those things, the double A comes into picture. In higher education, this particular decision is is not going to go down well with Joe Biden. And as you rightly mentioned, the conservative judges are, in a way, this is the second big move that has come after the abortion rights issue. Looks like the winds of change obviously are sweeping across the United States, but this particular move, Varghese, is surely what Joe Biden also said, that the ruling basically walks away from decades of precedent, as he mentioned, adding universities should not abandon their commitment to create diverse student bodies. So Joe Biden, obviously, on expected lines, is not happy. And when he was asked about the decision with the conservative-dominated panel, Biden took a lengthy pause before finally saying that this is not a normal code. So this is how the dissent has been so far in United States against this U.S. decision.